that were lost on September 11th, especially our firefighters and the 21 names of heroes lost this year. Behind every name, there are personal stories of action, heroism, and sacrifice, both on the part of the firefighter and their families. As we listen to their stories, we are humbled by their dedication to public service and to the compassionate courage for which our firefighters are known. When duty called, they answered. The heroes of September 11th embodied extraordinary service and bravery. We are often asked or hear the question, where were you on September 11th? No matter where we were on that fateful day, we recall the heroic sacrifice made by our firefighters and those other first responders.
Constitutional officers, to Fire Marshal Cohen and the members of the board of this extraordinary and solemn place, to my partners in government who are here, to all of the heroes here and represented here. It's my honor to join you today on this glorious, glorious evening, a solemn occasion of gratitude, and to acknowledge the service and sacrifice of firefighters and their families all across our Commonwealth. We add 22 names to the Ring of Honor today, among them 2 who lost their lives in the line of duty. John Davies Sr. of the Worcester Fire Department, and James Rice of the Peabody Fire Department. We continue to pray for their families, that their hearts will heal soon.
Tonight has a personal meaning for me, as my father, who served for many years in the Lincoln Fire Department, will be included. Some of the names you hear tonight were carrying on family tradition. Others were fulfilling a lifetime dream. 2 of our fallen firefighters made the ultimate sacrifice within days of each other during the holiday season. The 2012 Ring of Honor will be read by the directors of the Massachusetts Fallen Firefighters Memorial. Captain McCarthy, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Marshall, and good evening and welcome all. I'd like to first bring you the greetings of 3rd District Vice President of our International Association of Firefighters, A. Michael Mullane, a recent retiree from the Boston Fire Department after 44 years, and a founding director and present director of the Fallen Firefighters Memorial. Micah called out of town for business. It gives me great honor to state the following names who I've known and some were friends. Firefighter Timothy Doty, Belmont Fire Department. Firefighter Thomas Fay, Boston Fire Department. Lieutenant Kevin Kelly, Boston Fire Department. Firefighter Thomas Kelly, Boston Fire Department. Firefighter William Murphy Jr., Boston Fire Department. Lieutenant Edward Ted O'Reilly, former President, Local 718, Boston Fire Department.
I'd like to read the names of the fallen firefighters. Firefighter Joseph Walsh, Brookline Fire Department. Firefighter Arthur Boldock, Cambridge Fire Department. Chief Robert Pete Windsor, East Bridgewater Fire Department. Firefighter Thomas Boucher, Hanover Fire Department. I'd ask the Fire Marshal to come up and read this next name.
Deputy Chief Thomas W. Cohen, Lincoln Fire Department.
Chet Wheaton, Lynn Fire Department. Superintendent Jose Rivera, Malden Fire Department. Firefighter Albert G. Pryor, Medford Fire Department.
It's my distinct privilege to read the following names. Firefighter Richard E. Pierce, North Reading Fire Department. Lieutenant Dan Hamry, Springfield Fire Department. Firefighter Corey Reese, Swansea Fire Department. Lieutenant Orrin Francis, Upton Fire Department. Lieutenant Robert Buteau, Westwood Fire Department. And Firefighter Louis Sadler, Westwood Fire Department.
As firefighters, we take an oath to protect and serve our public. We enter a profession steeped in history and tradition, but also in the unknown. Every shift, every call could be our last. Smoke and chemical hazards are routine parts of the job. We never know when we say goodbye to a family and friends if this is the last goodbye. Families are taught that tragedy can strike at any moment, yet none of us are ever truly prepared when the unthinkable happens. This past December, the fire service suffered one of its worst months in several years. 2 firefighters died in the line of duty within days of one another. Both were fathers of 3, one with a loving wife and the other engaged to be married later that month. Both were veteran firefighters of their department and by all accounts what we call a good Jake. Firefighter John D. Davies, Sr., Worcester Fire Department. Firefighter John Davies, Sr., a 17-year veteran of the department, died Thursday, December 8, 2011, from injuries trying to rescue a resident from a collapsed 3-decker house fire in Worcester. Firefighter Davies, 43 years old, and a 17-year veteran of the Worcester Fire Department, also fought the 1999 Worcester warehouse, where 6 firefighters lost their lives. He left behind 3 sons, Senior Airman John Jr., 23, serving with the U.S. Air Force and recently appointed to the Worcester Fire Department. Firefighter James Rice, a 10-year veteran of the department, died from injuries suffered while fighting a 3-alarm fire 2 days before Christmas on December 23, 2011. Firefighter Rice, 42, left behind his wife, Amy, and 3 children, Allie, age 13, Katie, age 11, and Brian, age 8. Today we are honored that Mrs. Rice has joined us to remember her husband. The pipe and drum bands will play a fitting tribute while the Davies and Rice families remember men who were taken from us far too soon.
Order! Oath!
Are confronted with a more dangerous work environment than ever before. We are forced to continually change our strategies and tactics to accomplish our tasks. Our methods may change, but our goals remain the same as they were in the past: to save lives and to protect property, sometimes at a terrible cost. This is what we do. This is our chosen profession. This is the tradition of a firefighter. The fire service of today is ever-changing, but it has been steeped in traditions for over 380 years. One such tradition is the sound of a fire bell. In the past, as firefighters began their tour of duty, it was the bell that signaled the beginning of a shift. Throughout the day and night, each alarm was sounded by a bell, which summoned these brave firefighters to fight fires and place their lives in jeopardy for the good of their fellow citizen. And when the fire was out and the alarm had come to an end, it was the bell that signaled the all out, the completion of that call, that all have returned safely to their fire stations. When a firefighter dies, it is the mournful toll of the fire bell that solemnly precedes the announcement that a comrade has died. We utilize these traditions as symbols which reflect honor and respect on those who have given so much and who have served so well. To symbolize the devotion that these brave souls have had for their duty, a special signal of 3 rings, 3 times each, represents the end of our comrades' duties as they will be returning to quarters. And so, to those who have selfishly given their lives, their tasks completed, their duties well done, to our fallen heroes, their last alarm, they are going home to their eternal safe quarters. Chief Aranjo, strike the all out.